Grumpy werewolf Silas Ware Mitchell drops by to talk about killer fairy tales in Grimm. Then skating legend Rob Deerdeck lands the most dangerous kickflip of his life in a car, and I was there. Plus, we'll look at the skeletons in gaming's closet when we dig up the tragic history of Atari Jaguar in Tales from the console graveyard.
Crazy. This isn't like the work week.
It's the weekend.
The weekend. This is what caps it off. That's why it's so crazy in here.
It is.
Hey, it's the new year.
It is.
It's 2012 Candace Bailey. How's 2012 Bailey doing?
Oh, great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sticking to those resolutions? You made
So
40
far,
of them.
Well, I made them, I told you this, I made so many so that if some of them failed, I could still keep one.
Right.
Which, by the way, none have failed yet.
Oh! Wow.
What about you?
What about me?
No, you didn't do resolution.
I didn't really. My only resolution was to see more strippers this year.
That is not a resolution.
I do. Someone's got to visit them. Someone's got to keep the economy going, and I'm that guy.
You're supposed to make things better.
1G at a time.
Hey, Sarah.
That was the transition. Hey, Sarah.
Hey,
What's up?
you guys want to hear about what's coming up in the feed?
We would love
I
to.
absolutely do. Allow me to tell you. This week we heard about Marvel's lawyers fighting against mutant human equality, and a bunch of major websites considering the nuclear option to raise awareness about SOPA. But today we have some fresh Star Trek casting news and the story of a new church in Sweden that prays at the altar of file sharing. I'll have all that and more coming up. Oh, and one more thing.
What? Huh?
Anyone want to see a car flip? Yes.
Candace driving?
No. I wish. Rob Deerdeck is, and it was freaking awesome. I was like a couple feet away from this car, like completely doing a 360. Nothing to make you realize how powerful and bulky cars are, and seeing it try to launch through the air, because that was crazy. You know, when life gets tough, what better way to spit in its face than by risking it all with one huge, death-defying stunt? And the man hawking that giant loogie is none other than Rob Deerdeck. Pro skateboarder Rob Deerdeck has done plenty of stunts in his life, but nothing as big as what he's about to do today. He's teamed up with Chevy to send a new Sonic flying through the air. It's called a kickflip, and he's putting his life on the line for one big thrill. What is going on here today?
So we're doing what they called way back in the old days the Astros spiral jump. There were only 3 men that ever successfully did this spiral jump, and it's become one of the quintessential automobile stunts ever.
Why do this? What's your reason?
That's funny. Like, someone asked me that this morning. Like, what are you doing? You own like 17 companies, and you have like all this. You have plenty of money. Why are you doing this? And I said, you want to know what? I don't know.
So Rob's gonna start this stunt from way back there. He has to hit exactly 42 miles per hour. He's gonna hit this ramp, and it's gonna sort of just launch him into a 360 kickflip completely over this giant skateboard. And then hopefully, if all goes well, he'll land on this ramp, and we'll be here at the end cheering him on. All right, Rob is getting in his car back there. You have to imagine his head is completely on the stunt. My fingers are crossed. Good luck, Rob. They're counting down. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's picking up speed. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Here he comes. He's close. He's getting ready to go over the ramp. Oh my God. Woo! Oh my God.
The only way I could line it up perfectly is if I had one eye closed. I had to keep doing this as I'm going, but I had to keep looking down, opening up to look down, because if I went 41, I'd come up short. 42 was perfect. 43, 44, you're getting a little sketchy, so it was just like, one eye open, down, one eye up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
Oh my
closed
God.
eyes, closed eyes, closed eyes,
closed
boom.
your eyes?
Yeah, and then as soon as I landed, I was like, you are such a pussy.
I can't tell you how nervous I was for Rob. I'm so happy I didn't have to interview him in the back of an ambulance. He totally kickflipped the out of that car and walked away without a scratch. My next stunt is gonna be kickflipping the biggest skateboard in the world.
Hey everybody, it's Attack of the Show producer Andrew Zilch, and coming up, we go around the net with a huge group of girls! Yay! And then Chris Gore, he tells us about some DVDs that just came out, like Contagion and Apollo 18. Stick around.
Weekend edition! It's not there, but it is the weekend edition of it.
First up is a famous Canadian.
That's an oxymoron.
Take it away, ice hockey commentator Don Cherry.
Come on, smarten up.
What do you think
You're
of
not
Randy
going to get your Emmy this year. Randy Cullingworth was one of the guys. Many great coaches in Rochester Americans have won Coach of the Year, and I hope he has success like most of them that did. Let's be honest. If they were in the playoffs, our ratings would go wacko. And when I see a team that has 3 years in a row is the worst team killing penalties, there's something wrong somewhere. I don't think I'm this important. Either I'm killing the kid, tell him to come up, or they're stupid. What do you think?
Well, I do
What do you
think you
think
were
they're
right about
stupid?
Roberto Lombardo. He was good.
It's still so good!
The slide.
Does anybody else watch that? Like going, oh, come on, touch the desk again. Touch it! Come on! Touch it! Yeah! If only the desk farted when he pounded it. That'd be great. Little fart desk?
Yeah, no. I really wish we had a piano desk, not
Do
a
it.
fart desk.
We have editors. They can make that happen. Yeah. Go ahead. I mean, it means someone has to go overtime and they're not going to see their kids, but that's fine. Oh! Next, when you're confronted with an enormous group of drunk girls at a club, there's only one proper response.
Make a really catchy song about it.
Huge group of girls, huge group of girls. Everyone get ready, it's a huge group of girls. We're a drunken tidal wave, watch out for our wake. We act like every night is Panama spring break. We're hobbling and we're bobbling and we're wobbling in our heels. We're drinking and we're smoking and we yell and laugh and squeal. We're a huge group of girls, we're a huge group of girls. And we dance, 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 dance. We text, 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 text. Drunk girl roll call. Becky, the drunkest one. Ashley, the slut. Teresa, someone's cousin. Stacy is missing.
Aww.
I love that.
Which one are you in the huge group of girls?
I wasn't any of those. I'm not usually the drunkest one.
What, were you blacking out on your
I'm
way to
not
the club?
the slut.
Like you couldn't handle pre-drinking?
No.
What were you
I don't
then?
know. What are the others?
You went to college.
Am I
You
the
can-
cousin? Am I the cousin?
If there's always someone's cousin.
I'm the cousin.
Always. If you don't think so, you are that person.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I'm the cousin.
You're the cousin. There's Candace.
Hey, guys.
The cousin.
No, that's Stacy. You're gonna go missing with moves like that.
And finally, let's see a truck.
Let's see a truck that's momentarily flying. How about that?
Ooh. Okay, that is super redneck, but I would kind of like to be in the car.
Really?
As long as I know it was going to land okay.
That thought can't cross your mind if you're in that rust bucket of a truck
No, I have
flying
to,
off a ramp.
I have to know that I'm going to be okay.
You're
and
not
then
gonna
I'm
know
in that car.
You're not going to know
Well, now that I know, I would go back in that car.
Okay. So you take
Back
a
in
time machine to the
I
truck.
I would,
then you'd
because
hop
it
in
looks
there.
like a lot of fun.
But there'd be no assurance that the time machine would work.
Good to see you. Welcome back, Film Expert Chris Gore.
Thank you.
Happy 2012 to you.
That was good. Let me tell you this. Nobody asked me about my New Year's Eve, but you don't want to know.
Is it really that
Trust
much
me,
worse?
You don't want to know. I'm still in recovery.
Okay. I
Very
don't
good.
want to know. I don't want to know.
Yes, you don't.
What's up first?
First, we have Contagion.
Now, did you think this film captured what a virus outbreak would really be like?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, what's great about it is that they do take a realistic approach. So you see the breakdown of social services. There's no police, there's no garbage pickup, no pizza delivery. Everything's gone wrong. Society's breaking down.
Everything.
Yeah, and it's frightening. I mean, it's really frightening in its banality. I mean, it's like boring. And also, the funniest film Dimitri Martin has ever been in. Well, that's true. Dimitri Martin is part of the cast.
Okay, well, they do have quite an all-star cast.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Kate Winslet, Bryan Cranston, just an amazing group of actors.
You know, I thought I was going to hate this film because I thought everybody was going to die and I was going to get invested in the characters, but I really didn't mind that they died, which kind of worried me and made me wonder if I've been on this show for too long.
Well, for me, it's this movie's like a commercial for hand sanitizer, which I always carry in my pocket. I always have hand sanitizer.
Look at that. We
Never
usually have
not.
some back here. So what's the bottom line?
Bottom line is, it's rent.
I agree.
Solid rent.
I agree. Yes, first one.
It's very scary.
All right, what's our next DVD?
Apollo 18.
Okay, now we've seen a lot of films that have mimicked the Blair Witch format, but this one is the first set in space.
No, when I heard about this film, I thought, this is a great idea. I mean, I love anything involving NASA. And what's cool is they do this fake moon launch, right? Apollo 18, and they find, what are there? Maybe creatures on the moon. The thing that made this movie just impossible to watch, it's so disjointed. The thing people complain about with Blair Witch is the camera was shaky. In this, the camera cuts every 5 seconds. It'd be like cutting between these three cameras.
Throw up?
It was, after a while, I couldn't keep track of the characters, what was going on. It just was, and I wanted to like it. I was like sold, like, oh, this is gonna be great. The story just became convoluted. And it was just not as, it just wasn't scary after a while.
So bottom line?
Bottom line is, I'm sorry, it's a pass, folks.
That's okay.
Pass on Apollo 18.
That's all right. I'd say pass.
Wanted to love it.
All right,
Yeah.
what else do you have to check out?
Don't be afraid of the dark.
Okay, horror films like this tend to annoy me. If there's a monster in the basement, then why is a kid gonna go down there and check it out?
Well, first
Like if
of all,
something's yelling her name, I would run in the opposite direction.
well, I agree with you. It is kind of a movie cliche to have a kid say, there's a monster, and the parents say, there's no monster. But let's face it, kids are big liars. So I find that to be kind of realistic. But I think that this was great. I mean, Guillermo del Toro, who worked on it as a producer, also a writer on it, he fell in love with the original Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which I also happen to love.
Oh, I didn't know there was an original.
There's an original from the 70s, and it's scary. It's frightening. Not so much now, but I love that there's, in the film, they actually kind of have a nod to it with 70s turtleneck that Katie Holmes wears and a Polaroid camera that no one would have now. But I think you could basically beat the creatures in this movie if you just had one of those flashlight apps you could download.
You could.
I've got the flashlight app. You're not gonna kill me, monsters. I think we're good. I think we're good. I'll be leaving the basement. Thank you very much. But thankfully, they avoid modern technology, and it's really frightening. I fell in love with this movie.
You did?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, bottom line?
I'm like, not enough extras on it, so unfortunately, it's a rent. It's a rent is good. A rent is a recommendation.
Okay.
You'll like, and the little girl is amazing in the movie.
She is. She's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have time for a quick pick.
Oh, goody. One of my favorites. You should be watching this show, Archer. It's fantastic, and the Blu-ray. It's so good on Blu-ray. It just looks awesome.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All the news you need to know.
It's Friday, January 6th, and here's what went on this week. Google and Facebook might use the nuclear option to protest the Stop Online Piracy Act. In other words, they might black out their sites on January 23rd, along with other .com giants like Amazon, Twitter, and eBay, in order to protest and raise awareness about the controversial SOPA bill moving through the halls of Congress. But at this point, no sites have made anything official, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens on the 23rd. Now, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek sequel is still a ways off, but they've finally cast their villain, Sherlock Holmes. Well, the actor who plays Sherlock Holmes in the BBC series, Benedict Cumberbatch, probably the most British name ever, was just tapped to play the film's still unnamed villain. Some other info on the movie has also emerged. Deadline says it will indeed be filmed in 3D, despite JJ saying it would be converted in post-production, which means the 3D won't be sucky. Yay! And we can look forward to it when it hits theaters May 17th, 2013. Now, the Swedish have a new religion, the Church of File Sharing. The Church of Copy-Me-ism, real name, was just recognized by Swedish authorities this week. Members of the church say that information is holy and copying is a sacrament. And they hope that this step will mean they can, quote, live out their faith without fear of persecution. In other words, we can totally torrent now, dude. Yeah. And finally, it's time for the Fark.com story of the day. Usually when you don't like a painting in an art museum, you mumble to your friends. But if you're this lady, you pull down your pants and pee on it. A 36-year-old woman in Denver was charged Wednesday for walking up to a painting, pulling down her pants, and rubbing her butt all over the $30 million canvas. She allegedly urinated after that, but due to the abstract nature of the painting, authorities are still unclear about whether or not she actually peed on the painting itself. The total damage, $10,000, but hey, maybe this was just her way of expressing art. Yeah, true. Oh, I'm Sarah Underwood. You've just been fed.
Hey, it's Andrew Zilch, and coming up, we don't have a motorcycle jump, we don't have a snowmobile jump. We have both at the same time in Adrenaline Junkies. And then Kevin sits down with Silas Ware Mitchell from Grimm. We're making dreams come true on Attack Weekend Edition. Zombie and puppy cuddle fest.
Another year go by filled with botched resolutions. This time, keep on track with a little help from these New Year's resolution apps. Figuring out what you want to achieve is one thing, but getting started can be a challenge all its own. Here to help is Unstuck. Unstuck was designed to help its users make tough decisions, whether it's figuring out if you should move across the country or you're suffering from a crippling case of writer's block. Unstuck provides on-demand coaching to overcome any obstacle you're facing. To do this, the app first leads you through a quick series of questions used to identify how you're currently dealing with the situation. Once it's determined your particular brand of stuckness, it spits out customized stats and tips on how to get unstuck. Also included are 11 unique tools intended to give you a kickstart, whether it's comparing pros and cons or visualizing your obstacles so you can overcome them. With a steadily growing community and countless ways to help you on the road to success, Unstuck will get you going for free on the iPad. But if you have something a little more specific in mind, and that something is exercise, then Fleetly is for you. Fleetly turns working out into a game by assigning point values to each of your activities, allowing you to compete against others and yourself by keeping score of everything you do. It'll first ask you a few questions to assess your current level of activity and where you'd like to be. It then spits out a target fitness level for you to strive for. To achieve your desired level, you'll need to log some exercise. You can choose from an extensive list of pre-generated workouts, including everything from squats to swimming. To complete its game-like feel, Fleetly has achievements that are unlocked by hitting certain landmarks, as well as shared challenges that are open to anybody willing to give them a shot. Available in both web and app forms, you can pick up Fleetly for free from the iTunes App Store or sign up online at fleetly.com.
And finally, if your goals are more varied than just spending time at the gym, then check out Resolutions 2012. Resolutions 2012 helps you keep track of your top goals for the year and how well you're sticking to them. The app helps by listing all the little things you need to do in order to achieve your big goals for the year, and has you check in every time you stick to the plan. Checking in and completing goals grant you badges and other rewards, ultimately giving you a small sense of accomplishment every time you stick to the plan. You can download the basic Resolutions 2012 app for only 99 cents in the App Store. However, if you want access to unlimited habits, you'll need to drop an extra $2 to unlock them. This year, give your resolutions a fighting chance with help from some of these motivating apps.
Oh my gosh, it is time for the tweets of the week! Mr. John Maloney said, "Loving 2012 AOTS. Fat girls doing splits and Kevin Glowstick stories.
Ooh.
Oh, how I missed the show. Welcome back."
Let's insert it.
That all did happen.
Yeah. That could use a comma. Those are two different stories. The fat girls doing the splits had nothing to do with my glow stick story on New Year's. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
All right. The Real Jake 7000 asked, Candace, you did a Pringles commercial? Well, no wonder everybody loves Pringles. Oh,
I did. I did it when I was 13 years old.
I was going to make a glow stick Pringles can reference, but...
Of course you were.
Because they're similar shape, but you were 13.
I was 13, yes, and that would be inappropriate, Kevin. So, Kevin, at what temperature do you have the interns serve your morning cup of lube?
Oh, yeah, my morning cup of lube. No, I don't get a soy Astroglide or anything like that. It's that stuff was disgusting.
Why did you join in?
I don't know, because you guys were just so timidly dipping in. I'm like, get it done.
And then you chugged it.
Yeah, you got to get it done.
Adrenaline Junkies.
For those looking to jumpstart the new year with a heart-pounding rush, there are plenty of adrenaline-filled events to get your ass into high gear. We're not sure what you were doing on New Year's Eve, but at the Red Bull New Year No Limits event in San Diego, snowmobile rider Levi LaValle and motorcyclist Robbie Madison both attempted death-defying long-distance jumps at the same time. At this thrilling spectacle covered by ESPN, LaValle raced a 450-pound snowmobile down a snowless ramp at speeds of 100 miles per hour and soared a record-breaking distance of 412 feet and 6 inches, shattering his previous record by 50 feet. Simultaneously driving down a separate ramp, Robbie Madison flew 378 feet on his motorbike, surpassing his previous record by 20 feet. Considering that LaValle almost died attempting this stunt for the last New Year's Eve, I'd say that his 2012 is looking good so far. For those who wish that competitive racing had more punching and body checks, you're in luck because the Red Bull Crashed Ice World Championship is heading to the U.S. Over 15,000 athletes from 30 nations will compete on courses in Canada, Europe, and for the first time, here in the U.S. of A. Groups of 4 racers at a time will make their way down a 1,500-foot course at speeds of 40 miles per hour on ice skates. The rules? First man to the bottom wins. The first round of the Red Bull Crashed Ice World Series starts next week in St. Paul, Minnesota, where the top 64 skaters face off elimination style until, like the Highlander, there can be only one. And finally, grab your goggles and gloves because the Winter X Games are back. This 4-day ESPN competition will feature your favorite extreme winter sports, such as the men and women's halfpipe, snowmobile freestyle, and the men's ski and snowboard slopestyle finals, which will now be held at night for the first time. Returning invitees include the snowboarding Olympic medalist Shaun White, who took home the gold at last year's snowboard superpipe by pulling off a McTwist 1260.
That McTwist is insane.
We can't wait to see what tricks are up his sleeve this year when the Winter X Games 16 starts January 26th in Aspen. So even if you prefer your couch instead of the slopes, there are plenty of extreme sports to give you your adrenaline fix for the new year. Starting Tuesday at 7 p.m., join Kevin Pereira, Jessica Chobot, and the gang as Attack of the Show brings you 2 days of live coverage from the Consumer Electronics Show. Visit g4tv.com/CES for details.
It's Andrew again, and coming up after the break, we've got Silas Ware Mitchell, the big bad wolf from Grimm. So don't move a muscle.
It's parkour time. So what happens next? Does she smash her face on the rail? Does she clear the gap? Or does she jump too far and miss her landing? Find out when we return. It's parkour time. So what happens next? Does she smash her face on the rail? Does she clear the gap? Or does she jump too far and miss her landing? Oh! That is not how she wanted to start the new year. I'm guessing. Now, you might not want to meet my next guest under the light of a full moon, and I may or may not be talking about my butt.
Siegborst.
Very happy-go-lucky. Please welcome Silas Ware Mitchell, everybody. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to the stage, the official studio, the shoebox, as we like to call it.
I'm about to black out. All this activity, this visual activity.
No, that's the ecstasy that we slipped in your green room beverage. I'm sorry.
Oh, cool. I'm psyched. I'm going to
yeah.
a hockey game tonight, so that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. The ice will have never felt fuzzier.
Exactly. It'll feel warm.
Yeah, oh, the Zamboni's great, man. I need to get one of these for home.
I'm going to sleep inside the net.
When I last saw you, we were actually on the stage at Comic-Con, and Grimm hadn't actually aired yet, and you pulled me aside and were like, hey, listen, between you and me, this thing's not going to last past an episode. It's not going to go. Damn, you were wrong.
I sure was.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And thank God you weren't talking about your butt.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're psyched, man. We got a full season, and we're coming back to do the back nine, and the scripts are looking good, and we're psyched, man.
And is this an actual happy, friendly cast, or is this the typical, like, oh, we really love each other, but I'd like to stab a couple of them with forks?
Only a couple in the eye, but besides that,
that's
no,
fine.
really, it's truly, it's funny. No one really believes it. Everyone's like, come on, but it's true. We really have a great time working together. It's a very no BS environment. People come to work, and then we go out and we play together out in the playground that is Portland.
Okay, let's drill into the playground that is Portland, because you can put birds on things.
You can crack eggs on things. That's the new thing. They'll put eggs on
everything.
You name it. There's a restaurant that makes a trout wrapped in prosciutto with an egg on top of it.
Okay.
It's like the trout's good enough as it is, but why not crack an egg on it?
Dunbury. It's like the chef's apology that bacon used to be.
Exactly.
It's not good enough. Throw some eggs on it. Let's see what happens.
In there, yeah.
You want an omelet Dunbury? Done.
There is some good food up there. And
good
beer.
food and great strip clubs, I hear.
Per capita, the most in the country, from what I hear.
Wait, from what you hear?
Yeah, I haven't been to all of them yet. Give me a second, man. We're still only halfway through the first season. I got a long way to go.
Yeah, you got to bide your time.
Exactly. There's only so much you can take,
But that is not true. But what are the Portland strip clubs like? Is it like Suicide Girl type things, or there's someone like arc welding a fixed gear bike when you go inside one?
It's like I'm the Chamber of Commerce for strip clubs now. I didn't bring pamphlets, man. You gotta
come on, just
do your own research.
I want you to be my Yelp.
Yeah, exactly. Press me right here. There's a lot of different kinds, it's true when you drive. The way I got to know Portland is driving to set. Mm-hmm. And in downtown, there's a whole bunch, and then you're driving to set, and you're like, okay, so we're out of the per capita area, and you're out on some country road, and you're like, whoa, there was one right there. It just looks like a shack by the side of the road, but it's got these like bouncing girl, neon things. I guess they were serious.
It's a mechanical bear playing a banjo outside, and then someone's just slow grinding its thigh.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what kind of place. There's probably a chick in the back dancing.
Yeah, any place that I care to be, which is true. Now I always hate when people do interviews and ask about other people, but you were in The Patriot with Steven Seagal.
Yes.
That's got to be a tale or 12, right? There's got to be something. Can I open that Pandora's box?
Well, yeah, it's a Pandora's box, and you can open it, but I'm not saying anything's gonna fly out.
Are you worried that he would come out and just kick you in the throat?
Yeah, exactly. He'll do what did he do to?
He'll use his Seagal vision, which slows down time, allows him to X-ray you,
right,
and then he'll go right for your weak spot.
His vision has, is now the Seagal belly. I think is where that's where his vision rests.
It's in
now.
there.
As do his hands.
The souls of his enemies.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what he's pregnant with.
He did. He would stand and sort of rest his hands there while he was waiting. Why aren't we shooting? What are we waiting for? Why aren't we shooting? That was his big thing.
That's the stealthiest ninja pose ever. That's why all the ninjas in their gi.
He lulls you into a sense of security with his girth, and then it's right in there.
You're a brave man for revealing the truth about Steven Seagal. So you go back to do the back nine when? And when do we get to see them?
We start on Monday. No, the shows don't. I start working on Monday. Our next episode airs on the 13th, Friday the 13th.
Perfect date for it.
Couldn't be better.
Silas, thanks so much for coming
on. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Hey, it's Andrew Zilch again, and coming up, we pay a visit to the console graveyard and lay some flowers at the tombstone of the Atari Jaguar, or Jaguar if you're classy like me.
If your New Year's resolution is to broaden your musical horizons, we've got some brand new tunes that you can download completely free of charge. First up, help yourself to the song Mayday from Pujol's latest EP, Nasty, Brutish, and Short. With 10 releases in the past 2 years, Pujol is changing people's expectations of the twangy garage rock sound they expect out of Nashville. It's no wonder that Pujol attracted the attention of Jack White last year for a collaboration released on White's own Third Man Records. Next up is the band Kick Drums with their single, Had Too Much to Dream Last Night.
Oh, don't you love the chase? Oh, don't you love the chase? What happens when you catch it?
The band is made up of 2 former record producers who met while working as engineers at a studio in Cleveland, Ohio. They spent years perfecting their craft, resulting in a sound combining alternative rock, soul, and hip-hop laid over heavy drum beats and fuzzy guitars.
And I know I must be awake.
And finally, we have Snake Pit from Inter Shikari's upcoming album, A Flash Flood of Color. Described as a soundtrack for the mosh pit, dance floor, and front lines, Inter Shikari combines breakbeat techno with good old-fashioned punk rock for a sound that they hope will empower people and defeat the negativity that may surround them. All 3 songs are gifts from the artist to you, so what are you waiting for? Head on over to G4TV.com and grab some free beats.
Just push right back.
If I had Santa's superpowers, me and Blitzen would go and do the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs, effectively making Han Solo my bitch.
Coming up on Attack of the Show. Throw away your gadgets. We're live from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas with all the new stuff to fill your man cave. Then super hot MMA superstar Gina Carano will be here to kick some asses in her new movie, Haywire. And comedian David Cross returns with the new season of The Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret. Plus, we'll find out if Moneyball and Boardwalk Empire Season 1 are worth your time on DV Tuesday. And Grace Helbig learns to smuggle goods with Mark Wahlberg from Contraband. See it starting Monday.
It's time for the behind-the-scenes moment of the week.
Yes!
So, Mr. Pereira, what did we learn this week?
That you should heat up your pool before you shoot dead girl scenes in it. Pretty much what we learned.
Yes, that is what we learned.
We had that huge group of girls video in the morning, and we wanted to show where the missing girl, Stacy?
Yeah. Stacy is
We wanted to
missing.
show where Stacy went, because she was missing, so the idea was to have an actress in the pool looking dead. It was way too cold in there. I think it was 50 degrees. What do you think it is, probably in a LA pool? Less than 50? 23 degrees Fahrenheit in my pool. and it was just way too much for her. So our production assistant, Jess, volunteered, hopped on in. Before doing that, though, we made him put on one of her dresses. Didn't even matter. It still looked like a dude in the
Such a
pool.
good sport.
So
Such a
at
good
that
sport.
point, that was just, hey, there's Jess. Good job, buddy.
Well done, Jess.
You did it. You did it. And you still look dashing. Here's the clip. You'll see it. And I decided to jump in as well, and I was a giant
Take one for the
pussy
team.
about it.
And action. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Oops. Dude, I'm so sorry. All right.
Yep.
And action.
Sorry, was that long enough? Or no?
So out of solidarity, I'm gonna dive into my frozen pool. That's it.
Well, you're out so soon. What,
I said I was gonna dive in. I dove in. It sucks in there. That's not fun at all. That's really, really cold. That's not fun at all. That was like toxic shock.
Jess, how you doing?
I'm doing good now. Still looking good in the dress. That's what really matters.
There was a half a second of thought of like, yeah, I'll just get in there and I'll be like, what's up? It's no big no. This, get out, get out. Yeah, no, that was cool.
Well,
I
at
really,
least you jumped in. I would not have jumped in.
You would have hopped in.
I don't think I would have.
Oh, I think we have a package for next week. Candace. Here's the. Wait, let's place it. No, hold on. Let's place the over-under. There'll be a prize. There'll be a big prize.
No, there will
You'll
not
get
be a
basket
prize.
of puppies to
No,
pet
that's
during
a
an entire
lie.
show. No,
That's
if
a lie.
you complete the challenge. So what's the over-under on laps? How many
I
laps
hate
can
cold
Candace
water.
do in
No,
my pool
I don't wanna do it.
before tapping out?
I hate you.
Think of the puppies. All right, over-under's at 3.
You're not even here next
Over-under's
week.
at 3. I know, so I don't have to
Get
deal
out
with
of
you.
here.
So,
Stop it.
Hang on. Let's see this through. You get a basket of puppies and a $100 gift card to the
That's
Carl's
all?
Jr. of your choice.
That's all? No.
And a Twitter user will get something as well, so you get to be selfless and do it for one of our viewers. Here's what we'll do. We will hide various Twitter names of our users at the deep end of my pool. You have to swim down. Whoever's name you grab comes up. They get a prize. You get a prize. We're all winners, right? And if you can't do it, at least you tried.
Sounds great, Kevin.
Candace.
Sure.
The change your name.
In the mid-90s, the Genesis and SNES were coming to the end of their runs. The next generation of consoles was on the horizon, and Atari was leading the charge with their new system, the Jaguar. Launched in '93 in the test markets of New York and San Francisco, Atari attempted to advertise the Jaguar, somewhat inaccurately, as the world's first 64-bit gaming console with the slogan, "Do the math."
Jaguar! Jaguar! Jaguar!
It was actually a 32-bit CPU and a 32-bit GPU that I guess adds up to 64 bits.
Some engineer on a whiteboard said, well, I did the addition. We got a 64-bit system. Not really. That was marketing speak. It was 32 bits and barely 32 bits.
The Jaguar was priced at $250 and initially sold well, moving 17,000 units with its debut. The system was boxed with a copy of Cybermorph and a single D-pad, which most critics regard as the worst controller of all time.
You had 3 buttons, and then you could call Grandma on it or dial Miss Cleo because they gave you a whole telephone keypad on this thing. It was kind of a throwback to the Intellivision controller.
The Jaguar was released nationwide in early '94, and initial sales looked good for the system. Game cartridges were ROM-based and held 6 megabytes of memory. However, many of them were just reimaginings of old titles.
Atari was a nostalgic label. I mean, all of us remembered the 2600, Atari games in the arcade, but it didn't denote high-end technology, which is what they were kind of trying to sell it on.
Then, in 1995, Atari released the console's only add-on, the Jaguar CD, in an attempt to compete with other disc-based consoles like the PlayStation and Sega Saturn.
They only ever released 15 titles for it, and it was so expensive that it did end up being a bit of a wash.
The CD peripheral only sold about 20,000 units, and many of the titles were ports like Myst and Dragon's Lair. Despite these missteps, the Jaguar would have its relative share of hits. Games like Tempest 2000, which updated the arcade tunnel shooter.
Tempest 2000 was their system seller, and it's polygons in space and shooting stuff. It had pretty graphics for the time, and the sound was okay, and it was an enjoyable game by Jaguar standards.
However, the true shining moment for the system was the first-person shooter Aliens vs. Predator.
This really was the first game that I can remember anyway that allowed you to not only play the game from 3 different perspectives, but it also offered you unique experiences.
The idea that you're going to play all 3 species, human, alien, and predator, goes back to this Atari version. This was not created with the first of the PC games.
However, by 1996, the Jaguar was written off as a loss, selling less than 250,000 units, compared to the PlayStation, which topped 100 million.
So, to put into perspective how hilariously bad the Jaguar sales were, people compare its success to the Sega Saturn, which sold a few million units.
Leftover units were sold off to various companies ranging from arcades.
Atari was able to take some of the hardware and architecture that was created for the Jaguar and sell it off to arcade divisions. Area 51 was actually powered on Jaguar technology.
To the more bizarre.
The unused systems got turned into dental cameras, inflicting more pain upon an unsuspecting populace.
By the late 90s, Atari was purchased by Hasbro, who released the rights for the system. While the Jaguar would find a little life in the modding community, it effectively ended Atari's run as a console maker.
Atari, such a strong brand, something that will so define the late 70s and the early 80s, really showed that, that type of nostalgia hadn't kicked in yet in the early 90s. And as a result, you started to see that Atari brand slip. They don't make consoles anymore. They do make games occasionally, but something that was so prominent in people's minds has really just become sort of a novelty and something that people talk about wistfully and really never go back to play those games again.
Many thanks to our guest, Silas Ware Mitchell. Of course, Rob Deerdeck as well. A huge thank you to him.
And our PA Jess was recovering from hypothermia. Get in here.
Too close to the talent. Way too close to the talent. Way too close to the talent. Dance over there.